question of the day: what is your favorite multiplayer solitaire game? So I think of things like Dice Hospital and Chocolate Factory, ironically by the same company, but a game in which you're playing with other people and there are very few moments that interact in which you're playing your game and you're trying to outplay them by having almost the same variables, but doing it in a much better way by getting better tokens, better things in your park. Like today we're talking about Dice Theme Park. Now, I love Dice Hospital and Chocolate Factory. In fact, I did a review of them individually as well as against each other. They're both fantastic games. So I'm hoping that Dice Theme Park stays in that same line of tremendous games with a solitaire component, because Carl and I love to play these type of games. So let's take a look at how Dice Theme Park plays. We'll come back out to final thoughts right now. All right, this is Dice Theme Park set up for 2 players. Now everyone's gonna get staff cards of their color. There's 3 of each here. You're gonna get your mascot token. You're gonna get 17 or 19 of these activation tokens. I've just got a few here. You're gonna start with $6, 3 map tokens, and then 3 of each of the expand tiles. Now the reason this is 3 of each is because they are limited to what you can put in your park. You're gonna get a base park tile. Everyone's gonna get 2 A tiles dealt to them, and then you choose one. You can place it anywhere in a cone formation. You can't go below these tiles. Then you're also going to get 2 administrator cards to keep 1, 2 special guest cards to keep 1. Administrator gives you a permanent bonus. The special guest is a bonus that you can use when you use your mascot. Now, and there's all sorts of bonuses, but you can also get more of these during the game. So the game is played over several phases. There's the plan phase, the welcome phase, the expand phase, the improve phase, the operate phase, and the upkeep phase. I did that wrong. It's 6 phases, but regardless, my counting was off. But those are the sequential phases. We'll go through the phases essentially now that we're set up. The purpose of the game is to get the most points. The points are notated by these stars on each attraction. In order to do the attractions, you need to have dice in your park with certain parameters. These basic ones are pretty easy. They just have to have a green dice, a blue dice, a yellow dice, or any dice here to activate them. Plus, when you activate, the card or the tile may give you a certain bonus as well, depending on what you have on it. So for this one will allow you, if you wanted to activate a second time here. This will give you $2 when activated. This gives you 1 coin during income. Yeah, just want to clarify one more time. This is activated income or activated money. This is just during the income phase. So if you have this on an attraction, when it's activated, you'll get money for it. Essentially, they're coming off the ride and buying merch. Now, the second phase, or the first phase, is planning. You're going to take 2 of your staff cards here. You're going to choose to play 2 of them. Now, the numerical value of your dice is going to be your player order. So even though it says to shuffle them at random at first, it doesn't really matter because it's about to change. You're going to pick 2 of these. So let's just say we pick 4 and 3 here. So our number is 7. The lower numbers go first. So let's say the opponent has picked 8 with theirs, okay? So we're going to go first, and we have access to these during this round. Now also our income is 3, 6, 7 when we do the income phase. So we'll get 7 income immediately because it's during the planning phase. It's turn order, then income. And then if you have a staff member that can play during this phase, it will tell you which phase they play in. You could play it then. If not, you got to wait till that phase. That's the plan phase. Now the welcome phase is essentially you're going to choose in turn order one of these monorails here. It's pretty great. They are monorails full of gas. Now the gas numerical value tends to tell you how long they can stay in the park. So 6 will be in the park for a long time. A 2 is just there, probably an annual pass holder going in to buy merch and flip it on eBay. So that's essentially what's going to happen there. You're going to choose one of these and you'll place it in your park at the welcome area. So let's just say I took this one because it's got 6, 5, 4, and we'll put it here. Now granted, there's not a variety of the dice. There's only 2 dice that I have there. So they'll go into the entry, welcome to the entrance. What is it called? The park entrance. That's pretty simple. Now, you'll go into the expand. Now this is optional, it's in turn order. You can build an attraction for the cost listed in the top left. There will be 1 plus the amount of players available over here. And you can also gain a mascot, recruit the mascot from here. For $5, you can recruit your mascot. Mascots will allow you to manipulate the dice in an area. And then you'll also, in a full game, which this is the full game, you'll be able to choose one of these cards as well. So if you don't recruit a mascot, you don't choose one of these abilities cards here. That's the expand phase. So you're going to be expanding in your park. When you build it, you can place it out in your park immediately. Then there's the improve. You can buy map tokens for $3 a piece. Now the map tokens are going to allow you to move dice around the board much easier. Normally, they have to move to an adjacent space once activated. Or you can install upgrades. Each type of attraction can only have one type of upgrade. So the merch one, so if you did this, now you have to pay for the spot you're placing it on, obviously. So if I wanted to upgrade the Twister to have a merch store outside, it would be $3. If I wanted to make it give me 2 more stars, that'd be another $2. Now you can only install 2 upgrades per round, and they can't be the same one. Now again, these are limited. You only have 3 of each. So currently, when we activate the Twister with a yellow die, we'll be able to gain 3 stars and $2 when we activate it. So you're going to be doing that during the improve phase. Now the operate phase, this is where the meat of the game comes in. And Alleycat's known for this, where you kind of just play your game at this phase, and then everybody kind of comes back together at the end of it. So when you operate an attraction, you'll choose which dice you're operating with. So let's say I'm operating with this 6 here. You'll move it down here, and then you'll turn the pip down by 1. So this now becomes a 5. You'll gain any bonuses that it gives you. So for instance, this one can be activated twice. You'll put a cube on it to show you've activated. Now don't take this stuff yet. Wait till the end of the round and then count the cubes and get the bonuses for it. So if I did, for instance, activate this one twice, let's just say I sent another one here to the park entrance, which really makes sense. At 4, well then I could put a second cube here showing that I've done it twice. And then at the end of it, we'll gain $4 and 2 stars for the park entrance. Now then, once you've activated, these can kind of cascade and move. Now sometimes you're going to have a party of dice. So this one would take 2 dice, a blue, numbers 1, 2, or 3, and any dice, numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you can move a guest. Now here's the deal. If you're doing, now this is 2 different activations, so it's a little different. So you might want to do this in turn or in remembering order that you didn't activate twice like that. So let's just say I waited a second. So I activate this one, and because it only requires 1 in the party, I then move this dice somewhere adjacent. So I would go here, obviously, because this takes a yellow dice. Now, if I wanted to, I could then go back and make another one move, make it to the 4, and then I would, let's just say, move it to the duck pond for now, so I can get it in place to move up there. Now, there also, with the mascot, you can change the color of that dice. So we could make that a blue if I wanted to. You would just place the mascot, and then, let's say we activate this one. So now we would gain a point for that, which means that this turns to a 3, and then moves here if I choose to. Activate this one, blah, blah, blah. I say blah, blah, blah because it is a solitaire game and it's really exciting how you do this, but you're going to keep doing this until you run out of the activatable places for the rounds. For instance, we could not move this dice. This one could move, but it doesn't really benefit us this round unless we recruit a mascot next round. So we're going to pip this one down to activate this space. This turns to a 4. Can't activate this one because we only have 1 dice there. Then we'll gain the benefits at the end. So once everybody's done with their turns, you kind of then gain benefits. You say, okay, well, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4 stars, 5 stars. So you'll take the stars, which are these points here. Then you'll say, okay, I'm getting, you can do it all at once if you want, if it's easy to remember, or it's up to you. Honestly, this is not one of those things where it's, you must do it this way. For me, I'm just going to look and get all my stars. Then I'm going to look and get all my money. Now, granted, as the park builds outwards and you're placing a whole lot of dice out there, may not be the easiest thing. Now, if you were to ever pip down a dice that is a 1, it would come off the board. It doesn't move because that customer is ready to leave. So that is essentially what you're going to be doing. Now, at the end of rounds 3, 4, and 5, there's going to be bonuses here. So this one says least guest. The player with the least guests in their park at the end of the round gains. For if you're in first place, for 2 players, it's 4 points. There's no second place. And it's pretty much straight across the board. You can see what those do. Players with the highest excitement. So if you have the highest total excitement, so ours is 4, 8, 11 right now, we would gain the 4 points. In the last round, it's the player with the least upgrades installed in their park at the end of the round. So if you choose to have the fewest of those upgrades, you would gain the 4 points. It's just ways to get points. When the game is over, at the end of round 5, it ends. You get a point per money, a certain amount of money. I think it's every 3 money gets you a point. But other than that, that is what you do. Now, these cards can be used to boost your mascot. So essentially, you could change the value of the die by 2 instead of just 1. Normally, a mascot would allow you to adjust it by 1 up or 1 down, but instead you could use that skill to move it by 2 up or down, so making a 4 into a 6. Also, you can use map tokens. So instead of just moving adjacent, you could use a map token to kind of skip a step. So in case you couldn't activate, let's say we couldn't activate here. I had moved this yellow dice here and I couldn't activate there. Well, I could spin the map to go ahead and move this. Now that also works for characters who have not been activated, which means that I could move this here, 1, 2, flip both of these down, and now I'm almost ready to do this. So next round, I could potentially use a mascot to pip that down to a 1, 2, or 3, and then take this action. So you're prepping for next phase at the same time you're activating this phase. So there's a lot going on when it comes to this. Now the art in this game is just adorable. Like, it's really great isometric, 3D isometric looking amusement park art. And it's just really, really cool. But also these do a lot of things, but they also take a lot. So you have to have a dice with a green that's greater than that and another dice that's greater than the green. But it gets you 8 points when you do this. But it doesn't have any activation or expansion slots on it. So you just see that certain ones can be activated, certain ones can't. So you could bump this one up and get an additional 2 points. Not too hard to activate either. So a lot of options when it comes to, there's A ones and B ones. Once you run out of A, you'll move into the B. But that's how you play Dice Theme Park. You're going to be manipulating your board, getting the best theme park you can, and then when it comes to activate, you're going to smartly, intelligently cascade your dice to get the most that you can get out of it. So that is Dice Theme Park. So that's Dice Theme Park. It is a straightforward solitaire experience with that interaction of taking the cards and drafting it, which is just in line with the other games in this series, the spiritual series of Dice Hospital and obviously Chocolate Factory. First of all, the game looks great. The art looks just tremendous. There's not a lot of art design in the game, as far as art direction, I should say, which flows from the art into the board gaming experience. By that I mean, there's not a ton of symbols you're having to look up. Everything is pretty straightforward on the cards or on the board itself, which I like. When a game has few symbols but a lot of concepts, it works because it just, you know what to do instinctively, because it will say gain 2 points or gain $2. The only tricky thing to remember is income versus activation money, but it's really not that hard because it's printed differently. So the game looks great. I love this art style from the Dice Hospital Chocolate Factory style. I love the isometric buildings of each place. The art in the game is tremendous. I really, really love it. The gameplay of the game is fun. I like it. Now, granted, those later rounds can feel a little tedious as you've still got, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even depending on your numbers, people in your park. That can get tricky because you're having to balance and you're having to juggle, and those turns can start lasting really long. So there is that creep of, wow, round 5 takes a lot longer than round 3, but it may not, because you may not have anybody left in your park still. So I love this experience. I love the idea of building the better theme park, activating, and then intelligently activating to where you're setting yourself up for another turn this turn, or for next round to where you're set up to boom, 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 boom. Combos abound. It's like Tekken in the 90s, right? Or Killer Instinct, killer combo, whatever it was. All of that is here, and I love that feel. This is a big win for me. I give it an 8 out of 10 because I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays. I just think it's great. The only detractors is it can get tricky on certain rounds, and that will cause some analysis paralysis where people go, wait, do I do this? Or wait a minute, if I move this here, I can do this. And you get a lot of that. So turns can start to stretch. So get some coffee and get some snacks. But that is Dice Theme Park. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to check out the merch store. It is open now at dicetowerstore.com. There's all sorts of great Dice Tower help support the Dice Tower throughout the year, as well as score yourself some very stylish, very comfortable merch. That's dicetowerstore.com. Till next time, we'll see you.